Welcome. Today I will be paraphrasing, summarizing, and sharing for the June 13th Al-Anon readings in Courage to Change and a Little Time for Myself. We'll begin with a serenity prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. I usually say that at the end. Doesn't matter. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I slept really well last night, but the last couple of weeks have been tiring, and I think it takes more than, a good night's sleep. It's a combination of factors. So thank you for bearing with me. I'm going to take a minute and look this over. The question is when can I allow quietness into my day? This is really nice. This is really well written. So step 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. So it says talking to God is meditating. No, prayer is talking to God and listening is meditation. So prayer is talking to God, and meditation is listening. Talking less and listening more, we get to experience quietness. And quietness is necessary to hear our higher power. Today's reminder: our higher power can speak to us if we're listening, and what helps us listen is silence, especially in something like meditation, but any kind of quietness, I think. The quote is from Discovering Choices, Recovery and Relationships. This person says their higher power has so much to say if they just are still and quiet. So how can I allow quietness into my day? Gosh, I think just as it says, just stillness. Just to not always be busy. Sometimes it's just, for me, being still and quiet. I don't know if you could hear that. That was an emergency vehicle that just went by. It's funny, I was working in the yard the other day, just pulling weeds. To me, it's very therapeutic. Just pulling dandelions and just like really light stuff. And my partner said, "Oh, well, this needs to be done." And he was like talking about trimming shrubs and getting into the flower beds and pulling weeds. And as he was saying it, he said, "You don't want to do that. You're just looking to unwind." And I said, "Well, I can do that." And he said, "No." He said, "I'll do it. You just do whatever you need to do out there to relax." And it's funny because I do feel so close to my higher power and my mother, by the way. I feel like my mom is with me every time I'm outside I wear gloves, but like I was going to say getting my hands dirty. Whenever I'm pulling weeds or working in the yard, whenever I'm close to flowers and dirt, I feel my mom right next to me. And I also feel my higher power. So for me, that is good. Um, Being in nature helps for me a lot. And this is the time of year where I can be in nature. So that's wonderful. But it is especially hard for me when the weather's too cold because I'm not a person who enjoys when it's really cold outside. So I don't spend extra time outside. Um, but I do think that no matter where I am, I can close my eyes or I can focus on a clear patch of whatever wall or sky outside, looking out the window, and that also helps me to be still and quiet. It's not as good as being outside in nature, but it can work. So that's how, and I have to like allow myself to do it. I have to. It says, how can I allow quietness into my day? I guess just making it a priority and knowing its importance and just doing it. And it's been challenging the last couple of weeks because I've really been just trying to do what I can in the situation, in the health situation with my stepmom. Um, but I'm also like incredibly grateful that I'm retired. This would be a huge issue if I was still working. I would be trying to get stuff done at my job. I would be trying, and I'm sure my principal would be extremely, supportive, but it would be a terrible time of year to be taking time off, and I would be tired, and I would be trying to make up for the work I missed, and it would just be terrible, and I don't have to deal with any of that. But even still, like this is the second video I'm recording today because I had a doctor's appointment in the morning, and it was an hour and a half each way, and everything went fine, thank goodness. But then I got home and I called my dad, and he was saying that my stepmom was kind of having a rough day, and I could tell he was kind of down. And like I've said before, I'm only about 40 minutes from them, so I just decided to go there, and I did, and I'm glad I went. But it was a long day. And today I woke up and I went to the store and I got some things that we needed. Now I'm making up the videos, and then I'm having lunch with a friend of mine in the town where I used to work. So that's like almost an hour away. It's like really good stuff. Like this does fill my bucket. Like to see these people, it's a friend and another friend, but both former colleagues. But one was my mentor. Gosh, I'm talking so much. But like that fills my bucket, if you've ever heard that term before. Like that helps me. It's like what life is about, to be around friends and family. And I was at the store and I had a great conversation with a complete stranger about a particular kind of flower. And that's what life is about too. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, and then I'm going to stop. But wherever I go, I like say good morning, good afternoon, hello, have a great day, or whatever. Usually I don't say have a great day. I usually say good morning, good afternoon, or just hello. I smile, I make eye contact with like anybody who catches my eye, because not like a crazy person, like a friendly, we're all in this together person. Like that's how I mean it. And my partner and I were taking a walk. It was like over a week ago, and everyone we passed, I said, hello, good morning. And he was like, why are you so happy? It was just so funny. And I said, in my own way, like that's how I'm saving the world. I know that sounds crazy, but I feel like if we all were, friendly and accepting and loving, I think that would go a long way. So, I'm rambling. I am so sorry. But like I really, like, there isn't very much in my control, but that is, and I do that. So, all right, I'm reading. Step 11. Hmm. Ah, wow. Okay. Step 11. It's just saying that there are many different ways to improve our conscious contact with our higher power. And it's just giving different choices of how to do that. And it's saying how important it is to follow what we are offered by our higher power. This helps us to be confident in our actions and helps us to have courage to change. Today's reminder talks about clearing our mind of hurried thoughts, how there's only a limited amount of space, and we need to clear the clutter. And then when we clear the clutter, the guidance comes through. The quote is from The Dilemma of the Alcoholic Marriage. Step 11 is a force for good in our lives, and it's important that we find time for it. Yes, and I used to like say the same prayer set. It was really a set of prayers every morning, but I haven't done that for a little while. I'm not sure why. I guess I needed a change, but um, I say, "Your will, not mine," quite often, and sometimes, oftentimes, that feels like enough right now. I don't know why, but um, and then sometimes I'll realize that I haven't said the prayers and I want to say the prayers and I'll just say them wherever I am in my head. But I guess whatever works for us is fine, and to strive to maintain or improve that contact with our higher power is a very worthwhile endeavor, and I strive to do that myself. We'll close out with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sending you love. Take care.